All right. It is Thursday, and I am here with Cha-Cha and Anna Navarro and some cherry earrings, which are lovely.
Thank you very
What's
much.
going on with the cherries?
You know, what can I tell you? I felt whimsical today.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing you are, it's whimsical. All right, let's get started. We've been talking all week. If you had asked me on Monday whether we'd still be talking about Epstein on Thursday, every single day this week, I wouldn't have believed you because I would have thought something would have changed. They would have moved on, but it's different. This is not like all these other stories. They keep coming back to it, and President Trump seems to be extending it with every action he takes and making the story bigger with every action he takes. Why do you think this matters to the MAGA base over all the other things we've talked about?
Well, I didn't even want to talk about it on day one.
I remember.
I thought there were more important stories. I still think there are more important stories. But you were right. Your instinct that this was something that was going to capture the interest of the country. You were right. And I want to confess to you, now after days and days of listening to folks talk about it and revive some of the circumstances and the facts, and just now I have the questions. I'm like, why? I want to know what Pam Bondi, who went on Fox News in February and March and said she had something on her desk and that was reviewing and it would be released immediately. What was she reviewing? What was on her desk? I want to know what was on her desk. Now I want to see. I didn't have an interest on Monday, but now that Trump is so defensive and just absolutely cuckoo crazy about it, to the point where he is insulting his own supporters, he's using choice words that he usually saves for Democrats and women of color. He likes to call them dumb, weak, and all of that stuff. So yeah, now I want to see stuff, but I also think that, and it's been incredibly entertaining to see Trump spin out of control, and that nothing he has tried has worked, because I firmly believe that the investigation he announced, his administration announced 10 days ago on Comey, James Comey, the father, and Brennan, who was the CIA director, his base hates them. Now they're getting investigated. I think that's not coincidence. I don't think the timing there is a coincidence. Then the fight he picked with Rosie O'Donnell. His base hates Rosie. I don't think him getting up in the middle of the night to tweet against Rosie and her right to citizenship is coincidental. I think he was trying to appease them and distract them. Then, Pam Bondi firing 20 of the prosecutors that worked on January 6 related cases. I don't think that was coincidental. That happened over the weekend. I think that was her trying to throw a bone, appease, distract. Then yet last night they fired James Comey's daughter, who by all accounts of any lawyer who's experienced working with her, she is brilliant and very good at what she does. She put Bob Menendez in jail. She's, she put Ghislaine Maxwell in jail. And so I again think it's about distracting us so that today we would wake up and instead of talking about Epstein, we would be talking about how unfair and outrageous it is that he fired James Comey's
You left
daughter.
one out. Last night he announced that Coca-Cola is adding cane sugar back to the recipe, which is known in the United States as Mexican Coke. And he posted about that and was very excited. And all the responses were, thank you so much. Now I've completely forgotten about the Epstein files.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Mexican Coke. So does that mean we're going to get tariffs, or does that mean...
it's unclear.
Is the Coke going to get deported to Sudan? Don't tell, if you actually like it, don't tell him that it's Mexican Coke, because he might deport it.
I do enjoy the Coke with the real sugar in it. I'm not going to lie. I know the thing I keep coming back to, and you're someone who knows the back side of politics pretty well. You've been involved in this world for a long time. The thing I keep bumping up on, though, is if there were damning anti-Trump things in these files, wouldn't the Democrats have found a way to leak them?
No. Did you not notice that for the 4 years Joe Biden was in office, he had Merrick Garland as his attorney general? I mean, I cannot think of a holier than thou less political human being than Merrick Garland, who moved at the speed of a wounded, pregnant sloth. Okay? I mean, if I don't know a single Democrat who thinks that Merrick Garland was out there being proactive on fighting Trump. He could have brought charges against Trump far earlier than he did, and maybe we wouldn't be in the mess we are today. So do I think Joe Biden had control and exerted power over his attorney general and DOJ the way that Trump does? No, I don't. How do I know that? Because they persecuted and prosecuted his son. Do I think Merrick Garland was a political animal who was out there on his own and would have weaponized the DOJ on his own? No, I don't. How do I know that? Because I saw what the man did for 4 years, which was very damn little.
Would Joe Biden have been aware of what was inside those files, I wonder, is the other question.
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, I suspect he, this has not been, I mean, that's the thing.
It's been in the background.
This is a conspiracy theory that was started, promoted, stoked, fed by Trump and his minions, right? And I mean, they had all sorts of people that were supposedly on the list, not Cha-Cha, not me, but all sorts of people that just made no sense. And so you kept hearing about this list, but it was always from, release the Epstein list, release the Epstein list. It was
including Don Jr. was putting it out there. Donald Trump himself at one point was saying, we need to know what's in there. Yeah.
And the people he has appointed to the highest positions at the FBI and DOJ
were at the forefront.
And his own vice president were stoking the flame. So, like I said earlier on the show, this week on the show, don't build a 5-alarm fire and then think you can put it out by pissing on it. I mean, and that's what they're trying to do. And they're, and I also don't buy this idea that he's not releasing it because he is protecting friends and protecting victims and protecting people who may appear on this. When have you ever seen Donald Trump put some other human being's protection or well-being ahead of his own? So I just don't understand why they don't release everything that's out there, redact the victims' names, and release what's out there, or admit that you were lying and exaggerating. But you see, they're incapable of admitting that they were wrong. So that's their modus operandi. They always double down. What I've been beginning to wonder, though, is, like, if you had asked me at the beginning of the week or even last week, because this has now been going on for almost 2 weeks, I think. If you had asked me back then, I would have said, no way in hell is Pam Bondi going anywhere. I think they're too close for too long. They've been close since Pam Bondi was Attorney General of Florida, before he started running for president. He was a big donor to her campaigns. She stopped investigations into his foundation, his charity, and things like that in Florida. And so I think they go a long way. She's been defending him. She was part of his impeachment defense team in the first term. So, I think they've been thick as thieves. And but I'm beginning to wonder, will it require for somebody's head to roll in order to appease his base? I hand it to his base.
Yeah.
They are focused.
Yeah.
I wish Democrats and I wish people opposing Trump were as focused as this base is. They have not let this bone go.
Well, you also have to wonder is, once they've broken with him on something, does it become easier to break on other things? Once that dam is burst, and for the first time, they're not moving on when they're told to. They're not changing the facts to when they're told to. Does this then lead to other independent thought? It's a question.
I doubt it. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think because they broke on him on this, they're not going to break with him
ever again
on practically anything else. And they haven't broken with him. I mean,
no.
The base being mad about this has lasted longer than what they were mad about January 6th, than when they were mad about January 6th. The Speaker of the House was at Mar-a-Lago kissing the ring after January 6th, like 3 or 4 days later.
Yep.
It has lasted longer than the shock of the pardons of the January 6th insurrectionists. This has lasted longer than when folks heard him boast on video and audio tape about sexually assaulting a woman and grabbing her by her privates. I mean, that break was like 3 or 4 days long before people were back campaigning for him. So it's pretty amazing that this, a crisis of his own making, a Frankenstein he built and gave life to, it's what's coming back and biting him wherever.
Well, now the other story that you've been just continuing to hammer and make sure that people don't stop paying attention is about what's going on with ICE.
Yep.
President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is saying that ICE officers do not need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, question them. What's your reaction to this?
He said their actions, their physical appearance, basically me, right? I guess you could say, I have an accent. You know what the difference between me and the people they are arresting is? That I'm not working on a farm, right? That I'm not working at a construction site, that I'm at a studio in Manhattan. But there, for the grace of God, go I. And I hope every brown person in America realizes that this could be them, that they could come for them. I think this is going to be one of the darkest periods in American history. The same way we talk about some of the most shameful moments in American history, we are going to be talking about what is happening now. And so anybody who wants to be on the right side of history needs to stand up, protest, do everything they can. And I think something that is making a difference, I know is making a difference, is because people always say to me, what can I do? What can little old me do? I think that when we amplify the truth, because Donald Trump wants to pull the wool over the American people's eyes. He wants to make people believe that these folks he's rounding up and disappearing and detaining and deporting to countries like Sudan, that they are all hardened criminals and gang members. That is a lie. And I would say this to folks. Let's be logical. If they were in fact hardened criminals and gang members, don't you think Donald Trump and his administration would be releasing those names and those lists of crimes? Why are they hiding the names of the people at Alligator Alcatraz? And it's had to leak, and the newspapers, the Miami Herald, have had to look into it. Why are they hiding the names of the people that got sent to that gulag in El Salvador? Because when those names have come out, because family members and loved ones have reported them missing, and they've figured out that that's where their family members are, and the media has done its job, they've discovered that the vast majority of the people that are being held in these horrible conditions do not have violent crimes, do not have criminal histories at all. Something like 60+% have no criminal histories. And a lot of the ones that do have crimes, it's minor offenses, weed possession, shoplifting, traffic issues, things of that nature. And then, they'll say to you something like, yeah, but they're here illegally, so that in itself is a crime. Well, that too is a lie, because a lot of these people that are being detained were not here in this country illegally. They are detaining legal permanent residents, people who have lived in this country, worked in this country, built businesses in this country, have homes in this country, built families in this country, who make a difference in our lives and our communities. They are detaining legal permanent residents who maybe were stopped 20 years ago because they had weed in the car. I mean, weed isn't even illegal anymore. And they are detaining and deporting legal permanent residents. They are, when you take away the temporary protective status of Venezuelans, of Haitians, of Cubans, of Nicaraguans, those people were here on a status. It was temporary, but it was a legal status, and they had work permit. They were working in our country. When you take away that parole program that the Biden administration established for Nicaragua, Venezuela, Cuba, and Haiti, those first three countries, ironically, those are the American exiles in this country from those countries were the biggest supporters of Donald Trump. But those people came in with a parole. They came into the United States with a legal status and were here with driver's licenses and work permits being part of our community. And then they say, immigrants are lazy. Then why the hell are you showing up to the farms and the construction sites and the Home Depots to arrest them? Then they say they're all here illegal. Then why are you showing up to the court hearings? Why are you showing up to the ICE offices? Do you think that gang members and hardened criminals would show up for yearly or monthly check-ins with ICE? The people they are detaining and deporting, and sometimes it's children. There are people who've now died and been seriously injured. There is a man who died when they did that raid in the weed farm in California, fell from a roof and lost his life. There is a man who is on life support at the hospital because of that. They are showing up at churches. They are showing up at schools. They are showing up at hospitals, even though the hospital staff protests. And people often ask me, why didn't you say anything when Obama was deporting a bunch of people? First of all, we did say something. Second of all, Obama tried to pass immigration reform. There is zero effort from Trump and his minions to try to address these injustices. Third of all, Obama never violated due process, but also there was not this level of cruelty. Nobody would go into a church. No ICE officer would go into a hospital or go into a school. There were places that were sacred ground that you just did not violate. They are not doing that. The cruelty is the point. Cruelty is part of their strategy because they want to scare people out of this country. And it absolutely is racial profiling. What Tom Homan said when he says you can take them because of the way they look, their appearance, or their accent, or their place of work, that is racial profiling. And I want to know how you justify, at the same time, opening up the doors to white South Africans fleeing a non-existent genocide, at the same time that you're sending people fleeing actual dictatorships, and you're sending them to places where they have no ties, like Sudan and other African countries. It is inhumane. It is against everything America stands for in the world. When you travel in the world right now, and I do. I just came back from, Europe. Everybody wants to know what the hell is going on in America. Has America lost its mind? Listen, the world used to see us as a beacon of freedom, a beacon of hope. We had the moral standing to denounce human rights violations in other countries. We now don't have that moral standing because we are violating basic human rights and due process and the bastions of democracy in our own country. People need to keep their focus on this. They need to keep amplifying the truth. They need to keep shedding light on these horrible cases. Donald Trump was at 41%, shamefully, approval rating with Latinos in February. Today, he's at 27%, according to CNN polls.
You sent me that this morning.
That's a 14-point drop.
It's significant.
Because people are seeing the truth. I went hoarse telling people that he was going to deport their tias and their abuelas and their wives and their husbands. Well, he has. They thought he was going to deport Tren de Aragua gang members and he was going to deport murderers and rapists. That's not who he is deporting. He is deporting good, decent people. Dogs are being left abandoned and pets are being left abandoned. There's homes abandoned, cars abandoned, children abandoned. What are we going to do with those U.S. citizen children who are now living with the trauma of having their parent disappeared one day?
No, it's very scary, and you will continue to...
Every single time I have a platform, I will talk about it.
No, and it's important that you do, and it's one of the many reasons we're lucky to have you here. I need to move on to something completely different before we run out of time,
Go
because
right ahead.
There's some drama going on at your house about the Ring camera. I've been hearing about this from you every single day.
You've done nothing to help me.
No, despite the fact that you've asked me several times, I've done nothing. I've been busy with my own family and the TV show I run and that sort of thing. But tell me what's going on.
So, I've installed this Ring camera.
Yes. Which I can't believe is a new thing. You haven't had this forever, but yeah.
Well, remember, I have a 100-year-old house.
Yes.
And it's all like cement block and coral.
Hard to run wiring. Yeah.
It's also historical. So doing anything on this house requires permits from like 25 people.
Got it.
You know, and so, you know, okay, so now we got these Ring cameras. And it's driving me crazy. Because I don't know what kind of group I'm in. I don't know what kind of setting it's on. But every time, I mean, like every 5 seconds, I get an alert that somebody found a parakeet, that somebody found a dog, that somebody found a rabbit, that somebody's giving away a mattress. Somebody wants a recommendation for a good plumber. Yeah. Somebody wants a recommendation for somebody to come in and work their refrigerator. I mean, it's like having a Ring camera, being in one of these communities, is a full-time job.
So you join the social side of this.
I don't know
you
what
don't
it
have
is.
to do
oh
that.
My God.
You can just have a camera that shows you what's going on in front of your house. But you've joined the neighborhood, and now you're part of the neighborhood.
No, and the thing that's cracking me up, though, is, you know, sometimes Al FaceTimes me or calls me because he misses me or he's got something to ask me, and I ignore it, right? Because I'm here with you, or I'm doing. He can't keep track of the schedule because, you know, post tapes, pre tapes, TV shows, ABC, CNN, the whole thing.
There's a lot going on.
Dinner, drinking, you know, Broadway. He can't keep up with the schedule, so now he's taken to speaking to me through the Ring camera.
That's where he knows where you are.
Because he knows the thing will appear, and you know, and he'll go and he will now speak to me through the Ring camera, which I actually think is a pretty funny last resort. And it kind of reminded me of we had a comedian on the show today who I had never heard of and is hilarious.
Yeah,
she had
fantastic.
me laughing out loud.
Zarna Garg.
Okay, she's
funny.
She is this Indian woman who went into comedy in her, mid-40s.
Yeah.
And like Joy.
Yes.
And I don't think I have laughed that hard since Trump got elected.
She's got a great Hulu special, too. It's worth checking out.
But one of the things she said is, which made me laugh because it kind of rang a little close to home. She said, you know, all of these white people, they always want you to talk to your husband. You know, how are you feeling, honey? What are you doing? How was your day? She says, the secret to a great marriage is talking the least amount possible.
I think that's right. I think there's something to that. The special is called Practical People Win. She said something else. So Zarna Garg on the show, and she said something that was the secret to a successful marriage. And she said, beyond what you're saying, they just don't communicate at all. Do you agree with that?
A little, yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, like when you watch, you know, these people that go to therapy or you watch movies and everything, it's always like the white people asking themselves, you know, really wanting to know so much. But, you know, I mean, like, if I ask Al what is bothering you, are you kidding me? I'm not going to ask him what's bothering him.
Because he'll tell you. You don't want to know. That's really what it is.
I'm not going to ask him, you know, sweetheart, how are you feeling about our marriage?
Right.
My love, is there anything more I can do to satisfy your needs? Are you kidding me?
I mean, I would like to hear that from my wife. I'm not going to lie.
Would you really?
Yes, I would like to know.
Okay, to my point.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think any Latinos are sitting around asking. I'd rather say to him, you want to go to the movies? And then we go to the movies and we sit there and eat popcorn.
Does Al ever talk to you and ask you questions about like that at all, or no?
I mean, he's going to get like monosyllabic answers from me.
Right.
We will talk when we are, you know, we'll talk when we're like on vacation.
Yes.
And, you know, and we have all of this time.
And there's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide.
I mean, it's either answer him or throw myself into the ocean.
Yeah.
Those are basically the two. But also, you know, I'm having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with him practically every day, all, you know.
Yeah.
When I'm on vacation, but when I'm working, I don't know. I just, you know, I've got so much going on. I've got all this travel. I've got to be up to date on all the news. I mean, I
like to communicate a little.
Just, oh God, how much? Well, how much?
I'm a little needy. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little emotionally needy in my relationship. My wife just changes the subject if I ask questions like that.
Okay, but give me a question you would ask.
No, I'm trying to think. What would I ask? Well, even like she doesn't even know what's going on here. Like that's the thing. Like
Why would you want to tell her?
Because I need to talk to somebody. I need somebody who cares what I have to say.
Fine. Don't you have a dog?
I'll go on social media. I'll talk to people. I don't know. Yeah,
please
the dog
don't do
doesn't
that.
care either.
No, you get. So you want to tell her about your day?
Yeah, I want to tell
here?
her, like, Anna was so annoying today. She keeps bothering me about a Ring camera. Like, I'd like to have that conversation with somebody. Yeah, no one cares.
You better fix that Ring camera if you're going
I
to
will
be
fix
using
the
me
Ring
as a
camera.
baby, because I'm going to call Heather.
Yes.
No,
All right.
I don't. Does she even watch the show?
Yeah, she watches the show. It's like on in the background, I think, for her. And she doesn't listen to the podcast, no matter how many times I beg her to. And now I've said enough about her on the show that I'm hoping she doesn't.
Well,
Yeah.
can I tell you? So Al does not know there is a podcast.
Yes.
And he does not know there is a Weekend View.
Yes.
So I limit myself to talking about him,
In those
honestly,
places.
right? Because he's always upset. Like he says to me, why is it that every time Sunny talks about her husband, he's perfect. And every time you talk about me, I'm useless.
Yeah.
And then that's when I change
Exactly.
the subject.
Every once in a while, I'll throw something out there just to see if she's paying attention. And no, she's not. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right. We're out of time. Thank you for joining me today, Anna.
Cha-cha, let's go.
All right. That's it for Behind the Table this week. We have an all-new view for you tomorrow. It's going to be a good one, and we'll see you then.
Eugenio Derbez.
Yeah.
Is on, my buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. Huge star.
Huge star, yes.
In Mexico and doing a lot of great things here in America. I'm excited to have him on.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Tune in tomorrow.
Behind the Table is executive produced by Brian Teta. Supervising producers are Summer Shake and Nathan Getty, with production assistant Emily Darcy and editor Brian Davis. Special thanks to Laurie Hogan, Molly Kaiser, and Katerina Alexopoulos. Producers for ABC Audio are Trevor Hastings, Camille Peterson, and Amira Williams, with supervising producer Susie Liu, executive producer of podcast programming Laura Mayer, and vice president Liz Alessi.